What's poppin', y'all? Jack Harlow. I've actually had this topic on my desk for a couple of months now since the album dropped. And the thing that spurred me to want to talk about this again was actually this interview clip between KTO and NFR that I'm going to cover in a separate video, where they talk about, like, yo, why does it feel like all the albums are just coming and going right now? And that reminded me of Jack Harlow. And it's not because his album came and went. That's really not it. But Jack Harlow, I feel like the moves that he's been making have been disastrous, because the most recent thing that happened, and why I was originally going to make the first video, was this songwriter Jazzy would come out and talk about Jack Harlow's recent album.
So damn, shout out to Jack Harlow.
Yeah,
but I will say,
she didn't want to go.
I had a moment with Jack where he texted me. I did an amazing session with him, like with the album, The Kid, Come On, The Kids Miss You. And we did some great work together, and then he texted me a long voice note like, yo, I love working with you, but I want to work with you, but also don't want nobody to know, like, that you were working. Like, pretty much want me to be a ghostwriter. And I heard me, and I was like, my nigga, I was like, yo, you know, I'm a hit maker, nigga, in my head. I'm like, nigga. Period. That's what I was thinking, but I was like, bro, I'm not a ghostwriter. I'm not writing your lyrics, like, but if the song comes out, I'm letting niggas know I wrote it. So we never worked. We never worked after that. I respect him for hitting me with what he wanted, and in return, I hit him with what I wasn't gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't about the money. Because every song with your name is a business card.
Literally.
It's gonna give me other work. Fuck you about this shit. So
for those of you that are unfamiliar, this is Jazzy. If you've ever heard the song Lemonade, Zany Bars, so Doors, you know that song, the Internet Money song, that was her song. She didn't write the song. She didn't co-write the song. It was entirely her song. And then Internet Money, I think it was Taz Taylor, he found the song. They bought the song, them and 10K Projects. And then it was Nav and Don Toliver redo the song. But pretty much just go off of the reference track. So that was her song. She made that hit. And I think it's still available on YouTube. It's called Lemonade by Jazzy. And Jazzy here, she's talking about the album that she worked on, Come Home, The Kids Miss You. And I didn't know she worked on that album. Now, there are a couple of joints off that album I mess with heavy, and it was a sophomore album for Jack Harlow. Like, he had a previous album before that, but it was really the debut mainstream album for Jack Harlow. It was the moment where people were like, okay, what have you come to deliver? And it fell flat. Like, a lot of people felt like there were identity issues that were going on, but we're going to cover that a little bit later in the video. Right now, I want to talk about Jack Harlow. He abandons this woman because he wants her to stay as a ghostwriter, which is a bit much. Like, yo, dog, if you're going to work with an artist or a writer, and here she says, I'm not writing your lyrics. So she made it clear, Jazzy, that I guess she was helping him with hooks, choruses, something like that, maybe melodies, who knows. And he was still writing his raps. But for you to remove her from the credit, I got to give her a lot of credit for being willing to say, like, nah, I'm not going to work if that's the case. And the reason why this got a lot of backlash was because Jack Harlow, with his most recent album this year, he dropped this album, this like neo soul album that got a lot of mixed reviews and criticism, and one of them was because of him saying that he got, quote, blacker.
John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
black music.
Yeah. Deeper into blackness. Yeah. So was that conscious? Was that a little twist on the typical move that white rappers make, which is to retreat back into traditionally white sounds?
It certainly made what I already wanted to do even more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Because you like pushing that boundary, that line?
I think I love black music. I love the sound of black
Who
music.
among us?
Yeah, I love the sound of black music.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm hyper aware of the politics of today, that safer landing spot that a lot of my white contemporaries have found. And of course, it appealed to me to do something that I felt like at a time when there's plenty of people expecting me to take some of the routes y'all are taking.
Yep.
To take the route that not only might not be expected, but is also the one I genuinely want to take. So all the stars aligned in that way for me, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend like what you're talking about, I was like, I guess you're right. I knew that there were multiple things appealing about this route, but I also came to the decision, I'm proud to say, off of what feels good in my ear. I love R&B music. I love the sound of soft, intimate, melodic music. So
Yeah.
I want to be understood. I want to write melodies.
This was a surprise drop for this album, Monica, which, to be fair, like, I don't think it flopped first week, but it definitely wasn't the grower that they might have expected it to be. And for me, as somebody that's an active Jack Harlow listener since 2017, like, the first time that I encountered Jack Harlow was Twitter. It was a Twitter music video that was posted for his song Dark Knight. The song is still available on YouTube. I don't know if he was signed at this time to Generation Now or if this is what got him linked up with Generation Now, because he was still in, I think this is when he dropped like that Gazebo tape. This is still when he was in Louisville, Kentucky, I think. So he might have gotten signed after this. But you could see the image right there. It was rough. And then they worked on him. And then they continued to drop tape after tape after that. But I've listened to every iteration of Jack Harlow. And this one, it just feels like it's the worst. For me, that's enjoyed at least something from every iteration of Jack Harlow. And right now, what he's doing, it's just completely lost. Like, for example, when right now he's doing that whole Monica album, right? Post-Monica album. He's doing an interview in what looks like some red carpet event, and this guy's got like a kufi on his head. And he's got these earrings and these glasses, and I'm like, what? This guy's bringing Brother Mouzone from The Wire energy. And so what is this guy doing? Because I think Come Home the Kids Missed You really knocked that guy off of his rocker, because I enjoyed songs off of that album. When we're talking about albums by Jack Harlow, that's what they all say. That's a solid one. Confetti and Sweet Action were great tapes. Jackman was an elite album. I really enjoy that album. But when you look at the way that Come Home the Kids Miss You was, he was trying to go full mainstream kind of Drake mode. Like, he had First Class. That song banged. That was a huge banger, cross-cultural banger and cross-age banger. And he got a lot of criticism because of, oh man, he just copied an old song. He also had Churchill Downs, which a lot of people were criticizing his raps because they were saying like, yo, he got washed by Drake, who wrote his verse in like 11 minutes or something like that. And he also had features from people like Justin Timberlake that were attempts to have hits, and they didn't end up being a hit, and it didn't end up being a great cohesive album either. And this is when they were like, okay, this guy's not going to be the Drake. But his respect right before Come Home the Kids Miss You, he had an identity. They had molded him into like, okay, this is that cool white boy. He's not all the way Paul Wall, right? Like, he's not doing the most. He's still like a white boy, but he's got sauce to him. Like, you have those moments where he's flirting with other rappers like Saweetie. You're like, okay, this guy's got sauce. The women like him. The white women liked him for songs like First Class. And also, Black women liked him for just his presence, his charisma, and the music. The music was hitting. Like I said, he had songs for everybody at this point in time. But then after that, he goes fully into his rap bag. And while I liked the Jackman, this fell flat. A lot of people didn't even know that this album dropped. A lot of people are still like, yeah, man, I didn't really check that one out. Because up until this point, he had hits. Like, we're talking, he had Nail Tech. Even before he dropped the Come Home the Kids Miss You, he had that Already Best Friends joint with Chris Brown. He had Tyler Herro, which was a smash. And he had What's Poppin' in the What's Poppin' remix. And that was in 2020. So that was in the debut, the real debut. But Come Home the Kids Miss You was like, I guess you could say sophomore slump, if you want to call it that. And then we get a massive gap. So he went back into his super rap bag, showing everybody that he can rap, and they didn't even hear it, which is the disappointing part. Instead of just trying to make this hybrid and trying to make this album and really allowing yourself to be called the next Drake. Like, who cares? I think the criticism got to him a little bit too much. But in the gap between 2023, when he dropped Jackman, and 2026, when he dropped this album, he tried to become an actor, or he did like an acting gig, but he also had a major hit that took him out of hip hop for a while. And there were two songs, actually. Keep in mind, this was also 2021. Post 2021, he had that song, Industry Baby, which was a #1 with Lil Nas X. And he had SUV's Black on Black. That just goes to show you the range that Jack Harlow had. So he could get on a track with Pooh Shiesty, banger of a track, street rapper, as gritty as it gets, to a Lil Nas X, this is one of, it's not even zesty to describe it. It's one of the most like LGBT type of music videos you could ever have. And no other rapper other than Jack Harlow, you have to be a white rapper to get away with this too, could do both of these things in the same calendar year whilst also putting out his own music. So he was in a great position. But then 2023, he does a song with Jungkook, which is a K-pop artist. That song's got like over 1 billion streams, the song 3D. And he did a song, Lovin' On Me. And that single, it's got over 1 billion streams. It was top 10. It was on radio everywhere for a very long time. And this, most people didn't even know Jack Harlow had a hit. Like when this song was doing numbers, people were like, yo, where's Jack Harlow? Jack Harlow fell off. What happened to Jack Harlow? And I'm out there reminding people that Jackman exists, and they don't even know that he's got a hit on the charts. And all the white chicks, just girls in general, loved this song, Lovin' On Me. And you can tell by the type of press that Jack Harlow was doing at this time. You see Jack Harlow show up on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and you're like, yo, what the hell's going on here? Does this guy 1 foot in, 1 foot out? Does he want to be hip hop? He just dropped a super rap album, but now he's got this hit song that's very like poppy kind of. Is he going to lean more in that direction? It would be understandable if he did, but he hits us with another confusing move, which is when he drops damn near nothing in 2024, because Lovin' On Me was doing most of its numbers in 2024 because it dropped in November of 2023. So 2024 was all Lovin' On Me, but keep in mind, in the hip hop world, this guy's hasn't done anything since pre-Jackman. So they still have this sour taste in their mouth from Come Home, the Kids Miss You. He attempts to, in 2024, late 2024, early 2025, come back to the rapping thing. He drops this song, Hello, Miss Johnson. Great song. And this is when we get a series of singles from Jack Harlow that got me, as a Jack Harlow listener, very excited for the next project that he was going to drop. We got Hello, Miss Johnson. We got Tranquility. We got Set You Free. The latter of the two, which are the last two of the three, which I love, constantly play. Like Set You Free is top 10 Jack Harlow songs for me. Granted, it's only got 30 million streams. They had a music video for it and everything. Tranquility, only 15 million streams. These are some of the best Jack Harlow songs he's ever released. And then they tried to do this kind of like, it was a good attempt at a rollout of them dating and getting caught at Balthazar in downtown New York. Doja Cat and Jack Harlow for their collaboration, Just Us, which was a good song too. I didn't like it as much as Set You Free and Tranquility, but these songs, these 4 songs lead us up into something that I'm looking forward to. And then he hits us with a complete curveball, which is this Monica album. And while I don't think the music is bad, I'm just like, dog, what's going on? And you can tell by the numbers, and you can tell by the reception, and you can tell if you ask anybody, yo, what is your last memory of Jack Harlow? What's going on with Jack Harlow? You're probably thinking to yourself, maybe Jackman, if that. If you're really not tapped in, but listening to broad stuff, right? You're probably like, yeah, he had that one hit. You might even be going back as far as 2021, 2022, Come Home, the Kids Miss You. And that's years ago. So I don't know at what point he decided to focus on this demographic. And after Come Home, the Kids Miss You, he would get a lot of criticism from guys saying that, like, yo, it was just women at his shows. But you should at least lean into that. Like, you have to pick an audience, especially if you get shuffled into one that is profitable. Like, just keep making music for them, unless it doesn't fit with your identity. But we don't know what the guy's identity is. He went from Kentucky Derby to Nation of Islam. And it's like, well, what are we doing here, dog? And this is within the span of a couple of... No, he went from Kentucky Derby to LGBT rally with Lil Nas X to white girls, like kicking it with John Summit, him and John Summit getting kicked out of Travis Scott's section when it's time for him to perform, and then Nation of Islam. And you're getting all of these different identity, like just shifting through. You've got an entire weather cycle going on with Jack Harlow. So me, as somebody that's enjoyed Jack Harlow's music, I'm at the point where I'm like, yo, I don't even know if I care anymore. And I don't even know what to expect next. And I didn't listen to his album more than once. And I'm not interested in listening to it more than once. And this is one of those things where if you want to make music like this, you've got to, I don't know, start a different identity, sign someone under you and give them the album. like I accuse Kendrick Lamar of doing for Baby Keem in his early career. Do something like that, because now Jack Harlow's career, whilst he had one of the greatest positions and momentum that you could possibly have, he damn near squandered all of that away. Attention markets are completely different right now, and he doesn't have an edge anymore. And this new wave that he tried to do, like Jazzy, her coming out and saying that, yo, this guy wanted me to be a ghostwriter, it lends people to believe that he had ghostwriters on this new album. So they're like, okay, now you don't even want to give her credit. So it's likely that you found people that are willing to not take credit if they get paid for this new album. And that's what you're doing right now. And you're trying to grift this. And I don't think he's trying to grift it. I genuinely think he's a fan of this type of music and wants to make it. But I just think it's disastrous. And that's why this guy's not even in the conversation. Like, Pooh Shiesty was locked up. He does a song with Jack Harlow, gets locked up, comes back, and he's hotter than Jack Harlow when Jack Harlow had 3 number ones while this guy was behind bars. How do you do that? That just goes to show you the level of fumble that this was. And, like, do not forgive me if I sound frustrated, because I am frustrated here. Like, I've gotten minimal music for the guy. At least if I was cool with DJ Drama or whatever and they sent me 25 songs in the past 3 years of Jack Harlow, I could enjoy myself and listen to the music and have something as a consolation. But I'm here waiting for several years. I'm jamming Tranquility. I'm like, yo, this is about to be a fire album. And then we get something that is completely 180. And I also somewhat feel bad for Jazzy, because like people like Jazzy, Stara is another one. Like, these are really, really good songwriters that have been behind some of the hits that we love. And for them to not even be able to get credit on the song, because the fans aren't going to see the credits. They're not going to look through the credits, and they're not even going to know who the hell wrote what or produced what. It's just for the industry side of things and for them to be able to be compensated properly. And yeah, man, I just had to let that off my chest. Let me know what y'all think. Listen, I don't want to hear from you if you never mess with Jack Harlow's music, okay? I would like you to pipe down respectfully and give me your opinion in another video comment section. For the people that, at least for a period of time, or maybe still currently, listen to and enjoy Jack Harlow's music, where are you at right now? Did you ever fall off listening to him or caring about what he had going on? And what do you think it was for you that did that? And for everyone, including the Jack Harlow potential not haters, but the people that don't care for his music, when was the last memory that you had of Jack Harlow? Event, it could be anything, pre this album Monica. Because if you're saying 2023, 2022, that just proves my point. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see you on the next one.